this time of the year. We're doing well at home. The economy is doing really great. When you come back, you're going to see with the jobs and companies coming back into our country, and the stock market just hit a record high. Unemployment's the lowest it's been in 17 years. So you're fighting for something real. You're fighting for something good. Now we're working on tax cuts, big, fat, beautiful tax cuts. And hopefully we'll get that, and then you're going to really see things happen.
But as you can imagine, the left would rather paint a picture of gloom and doom. Here's Bernie Sanders.
I don't have to tell anybody that from a political point of view, this has been a horrendous year. It appears that almost every day there is something coming out of the White House that is embarrassing, that is destructive, that is horrific. Our job now is we enjoy this holiday with our family and our friends, is not only to take on Trump's divisive actions, his desire to divide us up based on the color of our skin or our sexual orientation or where we were born or our religion or whatever. Not only do we have to take them on, we have to do something else. And that is move this country forward.
The president, not one to shy away from his critics, tweeted about his busy schedule today, quote, "After turkey call, I will be heading over to Trump National Golf Club, Jupiter, to play golf quickly with Tiger Woods and Dustin Johnson. Then back to Mar-a-Lago for talks on bringing even more jobs and companies back to the USA." Now, he is very considerate to golf quickly, and that is not easy to do.
Because Tiger Woods loves to do it
again,
quickly.
exactly. Yeah. It's just yet again an example of his greatness, Jesse, right?
That's right. And I'm sure he scored better than Tiger. And he'll probably tell everybody he did. Listen, I think there's a huge difference in these two people. Trump came out and said what was going well in America in the people's lives, the stock market, unemployment, jobs. And listen to what Bernie Sanders said. He said, from a political point of view, everything's a disaster. So he's just talking about politics. And from a political point of view, I agree. It's been a disaster for the Democrats. They've had a terrible year. He also made me fall asleep listening to him. He looks very comfortable. And I love everything looks gray. His hair, the sweater, the background. This is the leader of the Democratic Party. This is the leader of tomorrow. And I can't imagine the Democrats can be thankful for Bernie Sanders because, listen, the guy does not scream fresh when you watch, walking and talk like that. It's the guy is, I think his best days are behind him.
Okay, and also thinking the military, which is very important. Now, Greg, I've noticed something peculiar.
What?
Not just about you. No.
Good.
It looked like Bernie has one of your sweaters.
That's true. You know, I was missing that gray one, and you better get it dry clean.
Gray?
I don't want that, you know, that unusual socialist odor on it. You know, this comparison reflects the prison of two ideas. You know, we're you know, in the media, we're expected to be one way or the other. You're either on the Trump train or you think he's evil. And it creates this delusion that Scott Adams talks about, the two movie phenomenon, where America is experiencing the same material, but they're seeing two entirely different movies. They see Trump as evil. Everybody else says, hey, things are pretty good. The fact is, the thing that makes me laugh, especially living in New York, an educated person on the coasts who can constantly go about predicting a Trump apocalypse, a Trump-caused apocalypse, will still go home back to a hip wine bar, peck at his iPhone, check his 401k, and watch prices fall on technology that 15 years ago a king wouldn't be able to get. The things are pretty good, and it's reality, as you were saying. In their face, there is no apocalypse. Things are pretty good. But in their head, they're seeing an entirely different film, and everything's going to come crashing down, and the earth is going to burst into a ball of flames.
A Trump-pocalypse?
As red as your hair.
A Trump-pocalypse.
A Trump-pocalypse. Yeah. Very good.
We should play a drinking game every time you mention Scott Adams.
Yeah,
yes.
I think almost every show, right?
Almost every show.
Every other show.
Paying you.
Someone's going to start
I'm on retainer.
keeping track of this, Greg. Let me tell you.
He was right about Trump for nobody listened.
Well, and there we go. Okay, so two different kind of worldviews.
Two different worldviews. Quickly, I want to ding on both sides. I really don't think President Trump's message was all, I think it had elements that were positive, but he was also kind of a downer.
No.
First of all, at 7 p.m. last night, he tweeted about the Affordable Care Act. This is as families are sitting down to dinner. And how crappy Obamacare was.
That'd be a President Obama
That's
downer.
not really the Thanksgiving
he built
spirit.
That.
But also with record signups. But also, Also, he also said, and I wrote this down so I'd remember, he said to troops in Afghanistan, everybody's talking about the progress you've made in the last few months since I opened it up. Now, he also said to troops in Iraq, they weren't letting you in before. Now, this is demoralizing for service members who are there today, many of them who lost friends and colleagues over the last few years, many of them who are actually serving tours of duty during the Obama administration.
Do you think they take it that way?
You can't tell these young men and women that their own country set them up to fail.
Do you think that they're taking it that way?
Absolutely.
Or when I hear that, I hear like, look, I'm making it easier for you to fight this battle.
But
That's what I heard.
my point is that it's demoralizing. It serves President Trump's political purposes, but I fear it's demoralizing for those men.
And they were serving and fighting just as hard under President Obama as they are under President Trump.
But their hands were tied, is the point he's making. Which is true.
I think that on Thanksgiving, the president has to do everything better than everybody else. I expected this from Bernie Sanders. I mean, you expect this from the opposition party. That could have been Mitch McConnell in that same outfit if Hillary had won, saying the same thing.
With the same slouch?
His posture is pretty decent, but yes, we'll give him the slouch.
He looked comfortable.
But when the president of the United States says anything that could be interpreted badly, especially by our service members, who he boasts about being the best for the military all the time and the most concerned, I think it's a problem. But I also want to say Bernie Sanders did make a key distinction.
What was it?
Where he, I will tell you, where he actually didn't go into the policies that were problematic, because we know about the health care bill and the tax reform bill, which Democrats and a lot of Republicans think are not good for Americans. But he was talking about the vibe and the rhetoric and where the country is, that we're more divided than ever, and that that's a product of the White House. So I think it is a little bit more nuanced than it was just like, this is all terrible. It was
it's
like
so funny, though, as a Democrat talking about divisiveness, they invented identity politics. They pushed that agenda instead of actually meeting the concerns of the American public about law and order, about terror, about border. Instead, they talked about pigment. They made pigment their politics. To the point about the military thing, this is an example of what the two-movie scenario is. He says something, and one side says, oh, my God, that's demoralizing. And then the other side says, no, he's basically saying that he loosened the screws so they could get more done. People see two different movies after hearing the same thing. Mine's right, though.
But the president did mention his celebrity friends.
Yes.
In his tweet. You might want to tell him. Give him
well, because
some
he
advice.
has real celebrity friends.
I have real celebrity friends.
Yeah, actually, you do. You have a couple.
Yes.
Who are they?
Directly
Lou
ahead.
Dobbs. Lou Dobbs and
Kilmeade.
Kilmeade. Well, he's not a celebrity.
Oh, ouch.
I'm going to wrap
I
that
love
up.
his new hairpiece, though.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here for you today. I guess, yeah.